I'm looking forward to Ironman Forge. We're pretty rural out here. And they lost my bag. I'm hoping that shows up tomorrow. I've got stuff in there I need. Anyways, welcome to Ironman Forge in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. We're gonna go out. He's gonna be on his way in just a few minutes. We're gonna go out and take a look around Cape Girardeau, Missouri. There you are.
Fantastic day, huh?
It's beautiful out, Steve. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
You are on camera.
All right.
Ironman Forge. This is him right here. Steve Watkins. Why don't we go and kind of check some stuff out if that's what you
Yeah,
want
sounds
to
good to me.
All right, we're going to show you around Cape Girardeau. Check it out. See where Steve lives. It's a very, very creative community. Follow me. Let's go check it out. So what do you know about these barges? There's one coming down right now,
Well,
and then there's this one here that's actually parked.
yeah, so I'm not sure why they park and why they don't, but there's constantly barge traffic on this river. The river is the least expensive ways to move goods throughout the United States.
Yeah.
Second is trains, third is trucks, and fourth is planes. So we have New Orleans is straight down the river and the Gulf, and then all the way up to Minnesota. So we come right out of the Great Lakes. So all of the traffic either comes down this or the Ohio, and they converge about 20 miles south of here.
Tell me about this music store.
It's Shivelbein's Music Store. It's been here, I believe, at least 3 generations. Bill, the owner, he graduated just a few years ahead of me with my sister. His dad ran it, and his granddad ran it before him. And they're all musicians. Bill plays sax. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome, yeah.
I'm a sax player too, but I'm not very good. How long have you been doing this now?
I just figured it out the other day. I've been doing it for a decade, so I've been doing it for 10 years. I didn't realize it'd been that long. I thought it was a shorter time period than that. But no, I've been doing it full time for 10 years. I've always been fascinated by knives. I grew up here in the Midwest, and we hunted and fished, and tools were important to people like my grandfather, who was a machinist, and he passed the importance of tools and well-made tools down to my dad, who passed it down to me. So I've always been fascinated by how wood and steel comes together, and by knives, and I've always had reverence for craftsmen. I was sitting out I was transitioning. I trained horses for 20 years, and I was transitioning from that into something else, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, and I just kind of picked my tools back up, and I'm like, I'm gonna make knives. Quick Google search, and there was a knife making school not far from me, a couple hours, at Haywood Community College in Western North Carolina. And it was a 2-week kind of immersive course. They bring in master smiths from all over the US that teach for these 2 weeks. And it's a lot of metallurgy and basics of hammering out a blade and knife making. I went specifically because I wanted to make chef's knives. All of it transfers over. So then once I understood how to make knives, basically, roughly, then I had to figure out what makes a good chef's knife, what do you need to put into the geometry, things like that. Started putting knives in hands of chefs and in different shops, and refined what I've been doing over time, and here I am. Good morning. Welcome to Ironman Forge.
So we get to follow you around today.
You're gonna get to see my process. So
it is a new day. Well, that's great. We're gonna spend the whole day right here in the shop. Stick around. We got lots coming up right now.
So this is a run of knives. These knives are a run of knives I'm doing for the battleship USS North Carolina, which is the most decorated battleship of World War II. So these are Damascus skinners, and these are little everyday carry knives, boot knives, clean your fingernails, cut string, whatever you need to do knives, right? Put them in your pocket. They're all made with the materials, basically the hull. So the USS North Carolina was commissioned in 1937, most decorated battleship, warship of World War II. And at the waterline where that water's been working on the hull, they're replacing a ring of steel all the way around. I'm taking some of that steel and incorporating it into knives that then the ship is selling to recoup some of their cost for the repairs. So we're doing limited runs. I'm doing a large knife that is kind of a nod to a K-bar. In other words, if we were to make a K-bar or get commissioned by the government today to make a tactical knife to carry in the field, what would I make? And this is that knife made with those materials. So we're using the steel and the teak off the decks, and all of these knives are numbered. We're doing 30 of these, 40 of these, I can't remember, maybe 40 of these. They come with a certificate signed by the captain, and they're numbered, and after they're gone, we're never making those again. We're gonna make something else, another run. The first thing we're gonna do is start making the steel for these two knives. I can get both these knives out of the same piece of steel. Basically, I'm gonna make a new piece of steel, a new piece of Damascus. I'm not gonna try to hammer out each one of these individually because it would take forever. And these are production knives, so I'm going to make the steel under my hammer, and then I'm going to stock removal this out of the steel that I make, and I can just do it a zillion times faster. And then that way I can get more knives to them in a better time frame.
Oh yeah, and action.
All right, I'm gonna start the forge, and then while it's warming up, we'll cut the steel for the Damascus. When I first started to light my forge, I would light this paper towel on, put it in there, it flames coming up, I'd turn the gas on, it'd blow that paper towel out across my shop, and then I'd go find it and pick it up.
That's scary.
And I was at a buddy's shop, and he grabbed this and stuck it in there, and I was like, that's brilliant.
Much better, much better.
Much better.
That is a smoking forge. That's really nice.
Smoking! Yeah, so
Did you build this or did
I did. So that's a 30-gallon LP tank that was cut in half.
Yeah.
Wrapped twice with kale wool. We put, this is the floor, so we put these in the floor, wrapped it twice with kale wool, and then refractory cement, Satanite, over the top of it so the wool doesn't get torn.
Just that easy.
There you go. I'm just deburring those so that when I stack them, they'll lay nice and flat together, not have a bunch of air gaps in between. So that's gonna sit on top of our billet. And I'm not worried about cleaning that side because it's gonna build up scale anyway. So there's our billet. And then that's all gonna get mixed in.
So this is, now you have the ship in there.
This is the ship steel. Yep.
And you have the 15.
Yep. My base for my
And your 1090, what is it, 1085?
1095 and 15 and 20 gives me my base for my Damascus, and then we add the ship steel to it to incorporate it in there. So the reason that we do that, so I didn't mention that, the reason that we are adding ship steel and not making it with like 50-50, ship steel won't harden. The steel off the hull has to be tough and flexible.
Yeah.
So they don't need carbon in it, they need it to be strong. Anyway, it makes great Damascus. It mixes in really well, welds well. And that's it, right? So that's gonna hold that side together.
Okay.
Flip it, do the same thing. Now I'm gonna weld a handle on here, and that's gonna seal up this end.
Okay.
Here we go, come on, baby. So what we're trying to accomplish is, we're gonna take that steel, we're gonna put it in my press under 50 tons of pressure, and we're gonna squeeze it. It's at 2200 degrees, which is almost almost starting to get sticky and melt. And then when we squeeze it, the internal temperature is going to go up, and every piece is going to get liquefied a little bit between those layers, and those molecules are going to jump across into each other, and it's going to weld every piece to the next piece. So it becomes one solid piece of steel with alternating alloys. It's not 10 pieces of steel anymore, it's one piece of steel.
All right, the next step.
All right, next step, I'm going to take this billet and I'm going to drop it in a canister of diesel. That diesel is going to permeate all those layers, and then when I put it in the forge, it's going to cook that diesel off, and it's going to cause soot, but carbon, in between the layers, which is also going to help keep it from building any scale. So we're 2250. I'm going to put this in there. This is going to suck that heat down, and you literally only have to keep it in the diesel or kerosene. Everybody was using kerosene when they first started doing it this way, and I'm like, well, diesel's kerosene, right? It should work, and it does. It works fine. Shove that in there. Wait for it to be the same color as the forge, and then you know it's the same temperature. So what I'm looking at is the temperature gauge is reading 2200, and I'm looking for the steel in my billet to be the same color as the inside of the forge, and I know that they're all the exact same. If there's any shadows in that billet, it needs to sit until the shadows are gone. I'm going to pinch the front first. That's going to seal that front. That's welded. Now I'm going to pinch the back. Now it won't open up. Now I'm going to walk my way down. So I've changed out my dies in my press to flattening dies. That's just going to help me keep this under control, and that'll make sense once I start using it. But for now, I'm just going to draw on the hammer until I get the length and the thickness that I want. Before I do it though, I'm going to check my width right here. So I'm dead on. I don't need to get any wider. I'm dead on all the way.
Excellent.
Knock this. If you can see loose scale, get rid of it.
Yeah.
Don't push it into your billet.
Sure.
Where these ends were overlapped, we're going to have about an inch, at least an inch, maybe an inch and a quarter of loss here.
Okay.
That's all garbage. That out there is garbage. On our final, right now our thickness doesn't matter. We're just trying to get length and get even thickness, because we're going to restack it and it's going to get fat again. It's going to be a big fat block of steel again. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to take these calipers and I'm going to check the thinnest spot, and then once everything is down to that, then I'm symmetrical. This is just helping me keep it under control. I'm using my eyes as well as some tools to check. And no, I didn't come up with any of this. I worked with smarter guys than me, and so you pick up skills along the way. So that little seam, that was the end of the top piece. This is the end of the middle pieces. They've all gotten stretched out.
Yep.
See that?
Yep.
That's probably a cold shut, so I'm going to come at this corner right here and just cut straight across there.
Yep.
I'm looking down here, and you can see these same seams down here. one right there at the corner of that tong,
Uh-huh.
and I'm going to come right across there. So our steel's everything in between that. So I'm just going to measure that. And that's going to put us at 23 inches.
Yeah.
So now we're just going to, so if I restack, if I want to get 4 restacks, I need to go 6 3/4-ish. I'll work it out on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
6 on 4 is 24, so we just need to go 6 7/8 is my guess.
Yeah.
So we're going to get 6/8 is going to give us close to another inch. We're going to lose an 1/8 with each cut. There's a lot of math right there in there.
Yeah.
So that's going to ballpark us though. We need to break that pattern up. We need to take those lines and make them zigzag.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to put a set of texturing dies in, and we're going to do texture them up. That's going to be our pattern. So I made a little metal pattern so I could replicate them exactly, and then I just make this bill a bit oversized so you see it.
Yep.
So these outside edges, everywhere, of course it's not going to fall off there. If I wanted it to stay on, it'd never stay on. What happens when you're forging is we get what's called decarb.
Yeah.
So this outside edge and the surface has all leached the carbon out of it.
Yeah.
So it's not hardenable. So we'll harden it, and 99% of the knife hardens, except for probably even more than that, except for that little bit of 3/1000ths all the way around.
Yeah.
So you got to grind through that to get to good steel. So I just make it a little oversized. We're going to let that cool down so I can handle it.
Okay.
And then we're going to surface grind it, put the pattern on it, cut that knife out, and then we're going to go back over here.
It's good.
We're going to finish her up. The last thing I do, and this is Damascus, primarily Damascus only, is fully sharpen this knife. I usually don't fully sharpen them. That's usually the very last thing, but on this, I'm going to sharpen it before I etch it, so that when I bring it out of the etch, all I have to do is hit it just a little bit to bring it back, and it's done. There, can you see it? Yep. Can the camera see it? That little shiny edge right there? That's the little burr. Yeah. So you know you're together. You know the two ends met.
Yep.
All right. Boy, that hand is giving me trouble. All right, that's together. So if you strop that, and you knock that feather off of there, It should be sharp. Yeah. Find some hair on my arm. So now it's sharp, it's together. I'm going to take those scratches out and etch it.
So this is the one we finished up.
Yeah.
Nice knife.
Thank you.
We're out of batteries. We're out of time.
And out of energy.
And yeah. I need a nappy, yeah, for sure. Well, I really appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us out.
Anytime. Come back anytime.
It was a lot of fun. Ironman Forge, if people want to get in touch with you, tell them again how to get
IronmanKnives.com, Ironman Forge on Facebook and Instagram.
And Ironman Knives?
IronmanKnives.com is my culinary website. Ironman Forge on Facebook has everything I make, swords, daggers, culinary things. And so does Instagram, Ironman Forge on Instagram.
So if you want to look at what we have at our store, bcknife.com is the place to go, www.bcknife.com. You can also catch us on Facebook and, of course, everywhere else, where Instagram, whatever you want to see, we're there. And again, Ironman Forge, thank you.
My pleasure.
I appreciate it, Steve.
Thank you.
I think that's it for us. I hope you liked the video. Make sure you hit the thumbs up and you subscribe. That's very, very important that you do that. If you don't do that, we don't grow as quick on YouTube, and you know, it just takes me a lot longer to grow. So do that for me. Give me a nice thumbs up. And I guess we'll see you next time. Till then.